Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Coach Jess Lee. I have my master's degree in exercise physiology, my bachelor's in kinesiology. I'm a prenatal postpartum specialist, and I freaking love to help people. Today, we are talking about all things protein, specifically in the area of fat loss, but also we are going to touch on improving our muscle strength and look. My mission as a one-on-one online nutrition and fitness coach is to help people improve their health and fitness so that they show up more confident and in a leadership position at work, more secure and sexy in their partnership, and more energetic and reliable as a parent. This is changing societies. This is changing generations. And my biggest method that people take away is you're still going to enjoy your life. You're still going to get to live your life because that's the sustainable way where we'll actually stick to it long enough to get results. Is my plan for you makes sense and fits into your life. So we're going to talk about protein. Now, I've been in the industry for 11 years now as a personal trainer, group fitness instructor, one-on-one coach. 10 out of 10 times, 10 out of 10, people who struggle to lose body fat are not hitting their protein goal. We're not getting enough protein day in and day out. It's as simple as that. The numbers don't lie. But why is that? Well, let's talk about losing weight in the first place. I'm going to go ahead and pin myself as people come in here. Hi, Steph. So 10 out of 10 times, people who are struggling to lose weight are absolutely, most likely, not hitting their protein goal. So let's talk about weight loss in the first place. In order to lose weight, there's a million ways to do it, but every single one of those ways that works is putting you in a calorie deficit. You are taking in less calories than you are burning. A keto diet, a Mediterranean diet, whatever it is, you're in a calorie deficit if you're losing weight. But here's the thing. The math is plain and simple. If you're eating less calories than you're burning, you're going to lose weight. But who's to say what kind of weight you're losing? Because if you're not getting enough protein in your diet, and we'll talk about how much you need here in a moment, the weight that you're losing will be fat, but it'll also be muscle. And the reason why this is happening is because if, let's just say, you are a 200-pound person and you are only giving your body 1,400 calories. As a 200-pound person, your resting metabolic rate, the calories you burn just by existing, is about 1,850 calories. So you're burning this much just by existing on this planet. Don't even consider everything else you're doing through exercise or activity in general. And you're only giving yourself 1,400 calories. If you're not getting enough protein, your body's going to say, well, I'm going to meet her where she's at. And it's going to pare your muscle down until your resting metabolic rate is that low. And so it's not that when we're in this really steep calorie deficit that our body starts to burn muscle. It just decreases the muscle on our body so that our body is less metabolic because we're not giving it what it needs. So by getting a good amount of protein, and I'm going to say it now, your goal is 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight. By getting enough of that, now when you're in that calorie deficit, you're feeding into your muscle. You're feeding and building your muscle so that your body only turns to fat. Muscle is so energetically expensive that if your body's going to get rid of something, it's going to be that because it's annoying for our body to maintain muscle. It takes a lot to maintain it. That's why the more muscle we have, the more higher our metabolism is. And so by giving our body enough protein, we're nurturing our muscle and nurturing our metabolism so that we are only burning fat. When you are in a calorie deficit and you're trying to lose weight and you're also exercising, hitting the gym, when you're in the gym and you're exercising, your muscle is breaking down. You're not doing yourself any favors when you're in the gym. You're doing yourself the favor when you're feeding your muscle protein afterwards to build it back up. But between being in a calorie deficit and not getting enough protein, paring down your muscle, working out like crazy, breaking down your muscle, not giving it the refeed protein, we're really not in a good spot to maintain our muscle. And every time your muscle squeezes, even when I do this, I'm using my muscle to lift my arm in the gym, walking across the room, going on a run. Anytime your muscle squeezes, it's reaching for blood glucose. That's carbs. It's reaching for carbs. Okay, so our muscle is what is eating all the calories that we eat. So the more muscle, the better. So what happens when you get enough protein? When you get enough protein, you are going to maintain your muscle while you're in a calorie deficit. So you're just burning fat, you're maintaining your muscle. You're also able to build strength because your muscle isn't in this constant breakdown. But the best part is that you're going to melt the fat away and improve your metabolic rate. You're going to be burning more calories all the time. So a lot of people ask, can I build muscle and lose fat at the same time? Technically, no. But what does happen is as the fat melts away, you will see your physique. You will see the muscles and the toned muscle that's on your body that you have maintained, and you're still able to build them up a little bit. Don't get me wrong, because you're exercising, you're eating protein, you're eating carbs. But what I recommend doing is get your body fat to a healthy range by eating in a calorie deficit, having enough protein. The body fat melts away, and you will be surprised at your physique that shows up for you simply because you're getting enough protein. When we think about our muscle is like if you went into a parking garage and there were a bunch of storage units. So when you go visit a storage unit parking garage, so all these buildings of storage units, that's the protein. And if we want to add on more storage units, we need more lumber to build it, protein to build it. What is inside those storage units is carbs. And so we're going to talk about when to have protein, when to have carbs here shortly. But now that we know the importance of protein, what happens when you don't get enough, what happens when you do get enough, let's talk about how to get enough. Because 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight is actually pretty challenging. Because so for me, I'm 5'6", my goal body weight is 135 pounds. If I have eggs in the morning, okay, 2 eggs is about 15, maybe 18 grams. And then I have chicken at lunch, okay, that's about 20 grams. And then I have steak for dinner, 30 grams. I'm not even breaking 100 grams there. And my goal is 135. And so we have the best of intentions. We really do. One of my top recommendations for really getting an idea of how much protein you need to focus on in each meal is take your total protein amount and divide it by the number of meals you have in a day. So I personally have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack in between breakfast and lunch and dinner. So I have 5 meals a day. So if my goal is 135, I totally just did that on my calculator. I'm not prepared. If my goal is 135 grams of protein, I have 5 meals a day. Every single meal has to be 27 grams. That means my snack has to be 27 grams of protein. Now I can beef up breakfast, lunch, dinner, but it's this idea that if I don't hit 27 grams at breakfast, I am now playing catch up all day long. So how am I going to make this happen? There's 3 ways to get protein: animal sources, non-animal sources, and supplements. Animal sources are honestly the best way because they are a complete protein. Complete protein means that it has all of the essential amino acids. A protein is a bunch of amino acids chained together, and there's different kinds. Protein has so many benefits, and I probably should have mentioned that, but the list is so long that it kind of gets watered down. And that's why I really emphasize the metabolism boosting piece of it. But your hair, your skin, your nails, your immune system, amino acids build up your immune enzymes. So many benefits. But only the essential amino acids, getting all of them, is what's going to create muscle protein synthesis. And so when we have our animal sources, whether it be from dairy, eggs, or meat, that is when we are going to get the protein we need for muscle protein synthesis. So dairy would be eggs, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, meat. However, every single thing that I just listed is also can be very high in fat. And so a lot of people will really go for those animal sources and accidentally go over on their calories because they ate a lot more fat grams than they realized. Let me paint a picture of how fat can be very sneaky. Peanut butter is mostly fat. There's a little protein in there, but don't get it twisted. Peanut butter is not a protein source. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, okay, is about the same number of calories as a plate this big of broccoli. So the calorie density in such a small amount of food, it can really sneak up on you. And so when we're like, I'm gonna have eggs in the morning with Greek yogurt and some cottage cheese and fruit and steak every single day, you're not gonna be in that calorie deficit anymore unless you're tracking very particularly. So my recommendation for animal proteins is lean proteins. So instead of eggs, have egg whites. Instead of Greek yogurt, have 0 fat Greek yogurt. When you're looking at your animal sources, chicken breast instead of chicken thigh. And if you're having ground meat, it's 90% or above. Right? Now we can get protein from other places. As long as we're getting about 70% of our proteins from complete sources, we're going to be in a good spot. But that doesn't mean that we can't get help from our non-animal sources. So plant-based, this is going to be, you load a piece of whole grain bread and there's like 4 grams of protein in there. Cool. You eat a bunch of veggies and it kind of adds up a little bit. Awesome. But again, we're not going to get the complete amount of essential amino acids we need, but it can still help us out. And if you have a very wide variety of these plant-based, you can actually piece it together. And that's what the First Farms vegan protein has done. And I'll get to that in a second. But when we're having these plant-based products, quinoa is a great source of protein. Lentils are a great source of protein. But remember that they are also very high in carb. So if you're going to load your plate up with those things, you better be prepared to account for those extra carbs that you're getting. And this is all a puzzle we're fitting together to make your macros work. Now, I am a one-on-one online nutrition coach. And so when you start working with me, you'll get your macros, be able to track them, and I'll teach you how to make those portion adjustments or swaps. Other plant sources are going to be from tofu, edamame, things like this. Bone broth, that would be an animal protein. And then next, I'm going to talk about supplements, because those animal and non-animal sources, that is a lot of food to buy, prep, physically eat. When we start eating enough protein, it's actually pretty challenging to get to stomach it. Our body's not used to it. We actually burn the most calories digesting protein. Our body has to work hard to break it down. So we burn about 10% of our total calories digesting food. So if you burn 2,400 calories a day, 240 of that is coming from digesting your food. What a win. I burn calories eating. It's like we burn calories smiling. But we burn the most digesting protein. However, that is a lot of food to stomach by prep, like I said. So supplements are a great, cost-effective, and delicious option. However, not all proteins are made equal. First Farms protein is the only protein that I'm going to recommend to you because it is processed at a very low temperature. It is also filtrated through this microfiltration system instead of ion transfer. They are keeping things very cool, like a crock pot, versus throwing it on an open flame. We have to turn it into powder somehow. And this is very slow and low. And so it's going to sit on your stomach very nicely. I have people with a protein goal of 200. Okay. They need supplementation to get there. I have people who get the ick from chicken meat. I would much rather have a chocolate milkshake that is all protein and nothing else, or some Ninja Creamy protein ice cream than chicken again. So lean on this because you're going to have to hit your protein forever. Okay. But with me, we make it realistic. We make it sustainable. So level 1 protein from First Farm, I'll link it in the YouTube video when I get this posted, is the #1 option for you. It's cost effective and delicious. You also have Formula 1. And we'll talk about that when we talk about our post-workout protein timing. But those are your 2 protein options that I recommend for your stomach happiness, deliciousness, cost effectiveness. Now, a lot of people choose vegan proteins. I use vegan protein because whey doesn't agree with my acne. That might not be the case for you. But I hope that for those of you who are choosing a vegan protein for no reason, realize that whey protein is the better option for muscle protein synthesis. However, most plant-based proteins are not going to be a complete protein. First Forms is. Hooray, they thought of it all. It is a combination of the rice, the pea, all the different pea proteins. So you do have a complete protein right there. So if you are going to go vegan, definitely go with First Forms so you can get that completeness of it and actually boost your metabolism. So how do we track it? When we are tracking our protein, we really want to make sure we're getting it right, because we've been getting it wrong for so long and under eating our protein. If I took a salmon, if I just searched and I was tracking my food, I was new to tracking and searched salmon fillet and put it in, it would say 60 grams of protein. Congratulations. Okay, hang on. Because if I took that, if I took whatever I was going to eat, my salmon fillet, and put it on a food scale, it would actually be probably between 3 and 5 ounces. It's safe to say that an average person, their serving of meat that they're going to choose to eat or that you'll get at a normal restaurant is going to be about 3 to 5 ounces. So when I weigh that salmon, instead of just cold adding it to my app, it's actually about 27 grams of protein. So we want to make sure we're getting it right. This would mean weighing your food or really understanding portion sizes. Again, I have other informational videos on my YouTube channel about weighing food, portioning food, and tracking food. So be sure to follow and subscribe. Never thought I would be the kind of person to say that, but it's happening. I have too much information to share, and I'm putting it on YouTube, everybody. Now, let's talk about protein timing. When do we eat it? This is something I have been wanting to scream from the mountaintops for a really long time. A lot of people say, well, before my workout, I have a protein shake. Okay, let's talk about physiologically what's happening when we exercise. I kind of already talked about it. When our muscle is squeezing, it is not using protein. It does not need protein to exercise. Protein is not fuel. Protein, again, is like lumber at a job site. It helps build. We are in the process of working hard and breaking down. We're in demo season when we work out. I'm yelling now. So when we come to demolish the house before we rebuild it, what we need is energy. Protein is not energy for muscular contractions. What is carbohydrates. And so before a workout, we need just enough to raise our blood sugar a little bit so that our muscle has fuel. Now, in a cardio perspective, our muscle isn't squeezing so forcefully that it needs that immediate blood glucose. It can dig up some stored fat for that. But when we are resistance training or doing HIIT training or doing a challenging exercise session, we really need blood sugar. But this calls about protein. So after a workout, 2 things have happened. Your muscle has broken down, and those storage units we talked about, well, the doors rolled up and the carbs flew out. So now you have empty muscles that have no stored glucose, carbs, and very broken muscle. So we had a little bit of carbs to fuel us for our workout, but after a workout, that's when we need protein. But something that's very commonly mistaken is people think they only need protein. We need protein and carbs. Now I'm going to get a little sciencey on you. I just have to, because it makes so much sense once you hear it. When someone has diabetes and they have high blood sugar, they need to get that sugar out of their blood and into their muscle. So they take insulin. Insulin shuttles the glucose into the muscle. But guess what? Insulin shuttles everything. It is the storage king. It is the carriage that brings everything in. So our protein has no vehicle to get into our muscle without an insulin shuttle. How do we do it? We give our blood sugar a little spike. So after a workout, we've got to have protein and we've got to have carbs. Yeah. You can do that with a very ripe banana and a protein shake, maybe a little Rice Krispie treat and a protein shake. But my favorite is the post-workout stack from First Form, because the protein that you're going to take is a rapid assimilation protein. It digests like that, which is what we need. Because if we're waiting for our protein to digest, and what's great is that protein digests slowly, which is wonderful because our muscle can just enjoy it for longer. We can stay fuller for longer. But in a post-workout setting, my muscle is going to keep breaking down until I get that protein. So I want it quick. So the fast digesting protein Formula 1 from First Form is incredible. And then you pair it with a very fast digesting carb. Notice how I said a ripe banana. We want quick sugar. So we do it with ignition. Now we're shuttling it in. We're refueling. We're rebuilding. We have way less soreness. We have way more energy, great recovery, and great improvements. More time building, less time breaking down. Now, what about your protein timing throughout the rest of your day? When we are hungry, it's a signal that our blood sugar is low, that whatever we had to eat last is gone. It's digested, it's stored. Protein, like I said, digests slowly, and protein keeps us fuller for longer. So if you're dealing with hunger pretty often, you may want to up the protein in your meals. Or if you are hungry, do not discount the power of some protein powder and some cold water, especially if it's level 1 or Formula 1. It will taste so good and it will satiate you. All right. Now, we have covered a lot, and there's so much more I could say about protein. If you have any questions, Steph, just drop it in the chat. If anyone listening has questions, just comment on the YouTube or wherever else it gets posted. But I hope that you take away the importance of protein and how long we have maybe been putting protein to the wayside. Protein can only do us good. It cannot be stored as fat. It boosts our metabolism, so we actually burn fat. This is good, good, good for us. And if you're having a hard time breaking it down, you're feeling full, you're feeling bloated, give it some time. You'll let your body learn how to do this. Or let me know and we'll go over some gut health recommendations. I'll do a live video on that soon. If you want more information from me, I would highly recommend a one-on-one coaching call or jumping into my one-on-one coaching app. This way I can personalize everything for you, problem solve for you, make you a better leader at work, parent, and partner. All right. So I will catch you guys on Thursday for our Thinking Thursday video. And if you're watching this on YouTube, follow the playlist. We got a lot of good education in here. Have a great day. I believe in you. I believe in my method. So let's partner up and change together. Bye.